This is the Kindie Rockstars Podcast, Season 5. Bringing you incredibly talented singers, artists, creators, and producers in the genre of children's music. I'm your host, Patrick Adams. Each episode will feature songs, albums, videos, or live performances, along with great stories from the artists themselves. Kindie Rockstars Season 5 is proud to be supported and sponsored by Waltmania Public Relations, serving the family entertainment community for more than 20 years. And now, on with the show. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Kindie Rockstars, and I am absolutely thrilled to have with me today three-time Grammy-nominated artist, Brady Rymer. Welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you. Hello, Patrick.
How are you? And you can introduce us to your friend here in the background as well.
Yeah, that's Georgie girl. She she sits around all day. She sleeps and she has a nice time. And then when I have to go and do something like this, she comes in. She wants to get involved.
Well, Georgie girl, welcome to the show as well. We always welcome our dog guests and animal guests and kid guests. So
yeah, what happens, right?
Absolutely. Well, we're going to do a music video feature today with Brady for his new song and video, D is for Dancing, which is fantastic. But before we do that, you're a first-time guest on the show, and I can't wait to hear about your journey into making music for kids and just your whole career in general. So tell us about yourself.
Well, hello there. Yeah, so I've been playing music, ever since junior high school. And my brother and his friend came back from school band because they played the trumpets, and they said, "Hey, man, let's start a rock band because you can't play Kiss on trumpets." So from 1976, I've been in this in the garage making music with my friends, and then that actually two other of those guys that we were in this band together with. This is in New Jersey, by the way, northern New Jersey, Sparta, New Jersey, 1976. And then we did it all through high school because it was just a really fun job, and we actually made some money. We played all around, and we wrote some originals. And then two of the guys I stayed in touch with through college. I went to the Schoolyard Institute in Chicago. My parents moved from New Jersey to Chicago. And so after college, we all got together, the three of us, in New York City. And we had day jobs, and we said, look, let's give this thing a go. We had stayed in touch during college, and we'd written songs together. We'd record them on a cassette tape, and we'd mail them in the mail. And then I'd get out my cassette recorder, and I would play that and then record myself playing on top. So and then we'd fly to each other's schools during spring break. So then we got to New York City about 1986, 1987, and we started playing on Bleecker Street and playing all around town. And then the thing that changed for us, we eventually did get signed to RCA Records in 94, 95, I think. So it took a good, 8, 9 years, something like that. But we moved out. It's so hard to have your day job during the day, and then you go at night and you basically pay to play. And we had this idea: why don't we just get a house out in the country? We could all live there. We could find a place to play down the road, and that could cover our rent. And then we could just start booking ourselves out of the kitchen. So we did that. We found this crazy house in Greenwood Lake, New Jersey. It was on this lake, and we set up all of our equipment in the living room, of course. And then we just started writing as many songs as we could. And at that point, we were called From Good Homes. That was the name of the band that I was with before making kids music. And a little funny story about that is that it was a kind of woodsy area, but it was being developed. And this house we were living in was kind of a weird house that had all different kinds of styles. But next door was just this empty, this wooded plot of land. And we kept noticing there's two guys out there, and they were like tilling the land. And we finally, and we were just at our house, and we'd be playing the same songs over and over again, because we're just like, we're learning how to do this. And we went over next door, and sure enough, they said, yeah, you guys are getting pretty good. We keep hearing that same song. We're like, well, what do you guys do? And they're like, well, we used to be in the music business too. I'm like, yeah, who? Anybody we know? He's like, yeah, we're with the Rascals. So it was Eddie and David Brigatti, the Brigatti brothers from the Rascals, were next door to us, and because their dad was one of the original like settlers of this land, but they were preserving the land for him. That was his wish. And they came over one night, and it was just such a weird little coincidence that the Rascals were next door listening to us. But that was a really great decision, and a really great time to just to immerse ourselves into this and learn how to play our instruments together as a band, and to just write, and kind of like develop a community, because we would go out to the same place and play over and over again, and then a community would develop there, and then we'd do the same thing in different places. And because we were able to cover our rent with some local gigs, we'd call up like Maine and say, hey, can we come up for the weekend? And the bartender was like, really, you want to come up here? Okay. So we had some freedom, and then we started to get little pieces. We'd get a booking agent, and then we eventually got a manager, and so we were, and our type of music was the whole 90s kind of jam scene. So eventually, when we got onto RCA Records, after playing the Wetlands and Irving Plaza and all these places in New York City, we started traveling around with Dave Matthews and Hootie and the
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Dave. We used to do this funny gig with Dave. Dave came up and opened up for us at Wetlands. It was his first time in New York City. It was really weird, actually, because they were down in Charlottesville, right? And they're sound checking, and I wasn't in the room. I was just listening, and I'm hearing something that sounds so familiar. And they were a band in Charlottesville. We were up in New Jersey, but we both had the same instrumentation. Like there was a saxophone player and a fiddle player, and then an acoustic guitar player and bass and drums. We had a couple. One of our guys was a multi-instrumentalist, but to hear them sound check, I'm like, wait a second, is that? So it was weird just how that stuff was in the air, and it was like the same kind of ideas floating around. But yeah, Dave would come up, and he opened up for us at the Wetlands, and then we were we were driving down to Charlottesville like almost every week or every other week to open up for him at a club that he was doing really well at, Tracks in Charlottesville, and trying to get his audience. So it was a really fun time, and it was because everybody was growing, and it was exciting. And then Dave stole our roadie, and then he moved on, and and I still see the roadie like running out at Live Aid to give Dave a new guitar.
It's funny.
And I don't blame him. He made a good choice.
Yeah, because how long was that before he hit with that first album?
Well, we were touring with him right when he was working on that first record. So, and we were playing. At that point, we were opening for him. It kind of turned around there, which was really exciting to see. And we were just we were a live band, and we were always on the road, and we put out 2 records with RCA, and we did 2 and a half, and we did a couple big national tours with them, and then that stint lasted till like 97, 98. We got dropped, and then we were kind of back to square one, with it in terms of like taking the wheel around, and but we had a really solid following, and we had some records, and we were kind of road warriors. But at that time in my life, I was starting to have a family. So my son Gus was born, and my daughter Daisy was was just born, and then during that time when it was like overlapping, I was because you always write songs, and you write songs to express your world and whatever's going on. So at like the From Good Homes rehearsals, I say, hey, I have a new song. I kind of play it, and they look at me like, and I realize, well, I'm writing songs for my kids.
Yep.
These aren't From Good Homes songs. So when my son Gus was born, I had a little batch, and then the horn player Dan Myers from Good Homes said, "Hey, we should just record these songs." So we brought our DA-88, so digital equipment, into my apartment in New York City, and we spent a couple weeks, and we just recorded those songs, and that became my first kids CD called Good Morning Gus, and that was released in 2000.
Okay.
Even though,
Wow. Yeah.
yeah, Gus was born in 96, and then Daisy was born in 98, but by that, but it was really interesting too, because I was living on the Upper West Side of Manhattan, and I was starting to look around like, okay, well, and at the same time, the band was fizzling out. It was really hard. Everyone was kind of going different directions, and like I said, we were back to square one, and we are really going to have to just get in the van again and and kind of be a really independent artist for a little while. So yeah, it was dissolving, and so I was looking around and seeing, because I didn't want to stop playing, and I had kind of these new songs, and then I noticed like a Dan Zane CD at Bank Street Books, and a Laurie Berkner CD that's there, or a cassette actually. I still have it. And then the Imagination Playground, I guess, is that what they called? Susie Shelton and Lou Gallo. They had a great band in New York City around that time. So anyway, I just started to see what was going on, and I made friends with Lou Gallo and with Susie, but Lou and I started to do some things together, and I just tried to see. I basically said yes to every job I got to see what this kids music world was all about. And then you see which ones you fit in with, and see which ones you never wanted to again. But that was fun. For a couple of years, Lou and I were doing some things, and playing, and he would give me some gigs, some daycares, and some YMCA's, and Battery Street parks, and then at that point, I think I was living in the Upper West Side, and at my preschool they didn't have a music program, so I just volunteered my time, and we developed a music program. And then one of the other parents whose son was going there was Liz Queller and Seth Farber, who are part of the little band that could. So at a certain time, I think after being out of the band for a while, I wanted to be in a band again. I'd been in a band my whole life. And I think the clincher was seeing Bruce Springsteen at Shea Stadium on the Rising tour, and it was such an emotional, amazing concert. And at the end, he brings out a lot of people. He had like a Mets pitcher, and he had his manager, and he had everybody out on stage, and he was doing Twist and Shout, and you just look around and you see this whole place, just doing this, and I'm like, well, this is the best kids concert I've ever seen. And so that was like, yeah, let's get the band back together. So I just organically met Liz and Seth at my kids' preschool, and then Claudia, who plays accordion and sings. She was in the neighborhood as well, and I'd see her down at the park with her kid. So we would, when we dropped the kids off at school, we would go have our own play dates. and so the first record that the little band is on was maybe 2006. Yeah, I found it. And then and so yeah, and right now we have 13 CDs. So or I'm working on the 13th, I guess. And but that was great. It was great to just get some really great musicians together, and to present some fun music for families. And it was a novel kind of thing in New York at that time. I mean, like I said, Dan was doing it, and Laurie was certainly doing it. But it was really really fun um, to get everybody together like that. So yeah, and then so we just been, and then done some, as you keep moving ahead and keep kind of saying yes to things and showing up. Other thing, so Dan, who is the producer of the CDs, his wife started a school for kids, special needs kids and kids on the spectrum and neurodiversity. So I'd go out there every summer and play, and sometimes during the year. Um, and then one year we just decided, the kids just had such a ball at a concert. We said we got to write some songs for these kids and let them come up with the ideas. So that's how I got involved in doing, the record that we did for them was called "Love Me for Who I Am," and that was 2011. So since then I've been involved in playing for special needs audiences and doing stuff like that. So but yeah, that's the basic groundwork of how I ended up here. Now I'm on Long Island, so I moved out of New York, and I still play with the little band that could, and yeah.
Very cool. What a journey. Um, so you've been nominated for a few Grammys. So tell me about your Grammy experiences.
Yeah, so the first one, what, 2009. It was weird. I was recording a record, and it was we had a really special guest, Larry Campbell. I don't know if you know him. He's a multi-instrumentalist. He's played with everybody from Bob Dylan to Emmylou Harris, Elvis Costello. He's just a phenomenal player. And I always like to, it might be silly, but if I hear like something really nice for a song, I try to do it. And I think these families and the kids deserve the best. So he stopped by for a few songs, and and it we were taking a break, and he said, this stuff is really good. He was like kind of surprised that it was kids music, because he didn't know like that people were doing stuff like that. He said, you ever know about the Grammys? You should submit this for a Grammy. And I didn't know anything about the Grammys, but there was just something by the way he said that I said, okay, I better like remember this and do it. So my wife and I, Bridget, we did. That was just, we did it all independently, and we just tried to connect the dots and send the music out and make a really nice presentation. And we got nominated that year. It was a huge surprise, and it was a real joy just for that to happen. And then a couple more years later, for a couple other records, and yeah, it's certainly so much fun to go out there and to feel that,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's a pretty cool scene. I attended the Grammys for the first time this year, so
yeah,
it was something else. I really particularly liked the pre-show, because yeah, I kind of felt that there were 70 plus awards given out, but these are up and comers in a lot of cases, maybe winning for the first time or something like that. But yeah, the actual Grammys too were a lot of fun. It was a good time, except for the rain.
oh yeah, that's right.
It was monsoon there in Los Angeles this year, so that made it a little more interesting. But all in all, it was a pretty good time.
No,
Um,
it's such a treat, and I was able to bring my dad out there one year, and my brother has come, and my kids.
yeah,
So
I'm
it's
taking my 19-year-old daughter next year, so
oh
she's
good,
excited about that.
yeah,
All right. Well, let's bring it to present day now. We're here to talk about your new video and song. It's called D is for Dancing.
yeah,
And this is such a cool song because upon my first listen to it, first of all, I love the concept, but I kind of felt it like a 50s and 60s and 70s sort of vibe coming from it too. So tell us a little bit about this song and ultimately the making of the video.
yeah. Um, well, yeah, so a couple years ago we put out our last record, and then about a year ago I was starting to, start the new songs start to bubble up. And at the same time we were playing some local gigs. Actually, we were playing the Jewish Museum in the city, And I came home and I'm like, it would have been nice if we had one more little dance song at the end of the show there. And you get inspired by when you start to do things and when you start envisioning like what you want to do. And I'm like, yeah, something. So that's how the very initial inspiration came. And then this next record that I'm working on right now. So this is basically like the first release from it. I'm just going to release some singles and then eventually release the record. But I wanted this to be, a little simpler and a little bit and more for young, really super younger kids. There's been so many of them that are showing up at the shows, and sometimes the music gets a little older and older. For me, it has. So I wanted to go back to, when my kids were super little, and give myself the challenge of trying to write some super simple songs for these little ears. So I don't know. I said, well, D is for dance, and that's pretty that's pretty rudimentary ABCs. So it took me a while to realize that, well, this could be an ABC song, because I was just like goofing around with D words and funny dance moves. And I think I was resisting the obvious. I would listen to it in my car with like all this gibberish, and I'm like, So, but it was good. He was happy to say that I got in and out in 3 minutes with the whole alphabet and the alphabet song and the guitar solo. So, because you never know.
Yep.
And so yeah, so it was, and I guess the influence is basically the music I loved as a kid. I mean, the first records I discovered were my mom and dad's 45s and LPs of Little Richard and Chuck Berry and Elvis. My mom loved Elvis so much, and some of those doo-wop groups, and then Motown. So I just kind of, that felt pretty comfortable and seemed like a pretty good kind of way to get people out dancing. And I knew the little band would just like, have fun with it. I mean, we've got some really great players. There's two guys played with Springsteen with his Seeger Sessions tour. And then Seth, that's Larry and Jeremy. And then Seth was a musical director of Hairspray on Broadway. So it's just so much fun to kind of bring these rocking kind of songs to these guys. We'll bring anything to them, but I knew this would be a fun recording. So yeah, and then Seth, the keyboard player, he put a little glockenspiel on, the little xylophone, ding ding, that you hear, and then to me it started to get a little bit more modern, a little bit. Well, I say Springsteen. That's I know that's not modern, but it had that, like you're saying, maybe 70s or he used the glockenspiel a lot. So and then we needed a little solo. We needed some electric guitar. I do a lot of acoustic guitar, and there's two acoustic guitars, like we pan them sometimes. So there's a lot of rhythm going on. But an electric guitar is a whole different animal. I've never been as good as I wish I was. So the engineer Ken Rich, who records in Brooklyn at Grand Street Recording, has his friend is Matt Beck, and Matt is a member of Matchbox 20 and Rob Thomas band, and he's just amazing guitar player. My first time working with him, and he plays lefty and he plays upside down like Hendrix did, and he just he came in and he put a beautiful solo, and he played some really nice supportive stuff. But I liked how then it became modern, with that solo and with his touch. So it kind of covers a lot of eras and a lot of different styles. It was a really nice touch at the end. And then with the video, yeah. So I've just been thinking about how to, because I love to make videos for songs, and I want to make them, but they're a challenge. They can be expensive. They can take a lot of time, and I've just been trying to think of ways. So during the pandemic, I think everybody got a green screen, right? So and some lights. So I got out the green screen, and I have a good friend, my friend Glenn Hoffman, who's an amazing director and cameraman, and he came over and he borrowed a few really nice lights, and he has a nice camera. But we set up the green screen at my house and right here, and we knocked out about 4 songs over 2 days, thinking that okay, this will be a good way to make this manageable, record 4 songs and then just do a little bit of graphics on top. So that's what the video is. And then I discovered this incredible graphics company, Cran TV. They're over in Europe somewhere, I forget, but I just saw them on Instagram or something. They just make these wild animations, and they're really super talented. And I don't know, you just have a good, when you feel like you have a good relationship with someone, you can just send them the vibe of the song, and you can send them some footage, and they come back with just kind of just the right thing. So the spirit really works. And so they did all the animation. So really it was kind of a two-person team thing. We had Glenn helping me, and we're just doing the green screen here at home, and then we'd send that to our people at Prand, and they would do the animations. So it's nice. It's pretty manageable, and I really wanted to do it for this song too, because of the educational and how much fun with the letters, and it just seemed like a real no-brainer.
Yeah. Well, no, it turned out great. And for everyone watching here on YouTube, we're going to play the video now. For those listening on the podcast, enjoy this song. Here it is. D is for Dancing by Brady Rymer.
Well, there's 26 letters in the alphabet, but only one letter's my favorite. D is for dancing, dancing. I see you all down the floor. D is for dancing, dancing. Yeah, I want more and more. A's and all around A's. B was born with a beat. C's a cool, cool cat. E is full of energy. F is funky. G is grooving. H is in the house. I's improving. But only one letter will do. D is for dancing, dancing. I see you all down the floor. D is for dancing, dancing. Yeah, I want more and more. J is jumping up for joy. K is always in key. You know the next group, LMNOP. It sure is fun to sing. Q is quick, R's got the rhymes. S is swinging, T's right on time. But only one letter, only one deserves my dime. D is for dancing, dancing. I see you all down on the floor. D is for dancing, dancing. Yeah, I want more and more and more and more. U is up for it, V's got vigor. W, X, Y, Z completes the picture. But only one letter for me. Well, there's 26 letters from A to Z, but only one letter can set me free. D is for dancing, dancing. I see you all down the floor. D is for dancing, dancing. Yeah, I want more and more. A, B, C, D, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. Take your daddy's dollar down to the discotheque. I said to do run down to the discotheque. D is for dancing. D is for dancing.
And that was the video / song for D is for Dancing by Brady Rymer. So Brady, assuming your music can be found on all the places that you stream, purchase, and download music, how can people find and connect with you?
Well, just bradyrymer.com is the website, and Brady Rymer on all the socials. That's find us there. We try to stay active.
Awesome. Well, Brady, it's been absolutely wonderful having you here on the show, learning about your story, and I hope to talk to you again here in the near future.
Thank you, Patrick. Thanks for having me.
You got it.